Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am Merlin, one of the co-founders here at Holistic Executive Suite, where we help business professionals and wellness professionals balance wellness in business. And so this evening, we have brought in a special guest, life empowerment coach by the name of Darlie Valcent. She is the CEO and the founder of Life Empowerment DKB. So this evening, we are here with the topic of love yourself. And so we've brought on Darlie.
Yes.
You want to introduce yourself? I'm going to let her say all of her accolades and introduce herself and everything about her.
Hi everyone, I'm your favorite life coach, Darlie, and I really focus on one-on-one life and wellness coaching. Addition to that, services like motivational speaking. I do have a healthy weight loss program as well. I have a bachelor's in social work and a mental health specialist. So all of my programs and practices are based off of self-care, self-love, and self-investment. So really focusing on the mind, body, and soul, healing, creating foundation, changing the mindset, and also building the confidence so you're able to really live life to its fullest potential.
That is amazing. And so we are in February, of course, the month of love, right? So just thinking about loving yourself and self-love. So today we brought Darlie to talk to us a little bit about, one, what is a life coach? You know, I've always thought, okay, well, life coach, right? Like, okay, they're coaching me through life. I just kind of broke down the words.
Yeah.
But then when I think about it as a provider and being in the healthcare field, we also have mental health therapists and psychologists. So today, Darlie is going to share with us a little bit about what is actually a life coach, what do they do, and how do they differentiate from each other, Darlie? Could you share that with us?
Yes. So a life coach really helps individuals set goals. So it can be 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, depending on what it looks like for the ideal client and how to get to their goals, and giving them the support, the guidance, the tools, the resources, and knowing that it's easier to go through life when you don't have to go through it alone, right? When you can bounce the ideas, when you can have practices and implement it. And the good thing is that with Life Empowerment DKB, we're invested in your long-term success. So knowing that it's a partnership. So if I'm helping you out, providing you the tools, the resources, it's also your job as well to put it into practice. So
Accountability.
Exactly. So you have accountability coach as well. Someone saying, listen, these are the goals that you said that you want for your life, right? This is for you. You know, I can't really actually physically do the work for you,
Correct.
but I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to make you feel protected, feel safe, heard, and seen. So that's the difference between a coach and, more of a therapist. Because therapist is more, trauma-based, unpacking, learning healthy coping skills like that. Even though, don't get me twisted, with coaching we do also provide, healthy coping skills as well. But obviously, with mental health, it's a lot different.
Very different. Well, I'm glad that you kind of shed some light on that, because we have all these new terminologies coming out in the wellness field as it evolves and keeps continuing to get bigger and bigger. So a life coach, I kind of thought was like, oh, well, they're coaching me through life. But I've seen therapists before, and they'll, if it's something mental, whether it's anxiety, depression, they help you with those skills. And they also unpack, like you mentioned, a lot of the surface of what's happening to help figure out what is your actual problem or the actual issue. They also prescribe, they also diagnose, which I don't know, do life coaches do that? They don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well that's nice, so that the audience and everybody knows what's the difference. So Darlie, share with us, what made you want to become a life coach? Like, what's your story?
So it was already in me. Like I explained earlier, I do have my bachelor's in social work. So I really had the passion and the purpose really for helping people. But where I was, I did feel limited. I felt stuck. And I was getting to a certain age in my life where I was like, am I going to be doing this forever? Not saying like I wasn't passionate about helping people and making that impact or change. But where I was, I felt undervalued. I felt overlooked, overworked, and I didn't feel appreciated. So a lot of that in the transition of within my journey, doing a lot of self-reflecting, I noticed that my happiness has to come from within. So a lot of self-love, self-reflecting, and taking care of myself, and really being intentional with my life. So doing the whole process of healing, right? Having a foundation of my why. So why am I changing? What is this for? And then also unpacking, I'm not unpacking, but I'm breaking all the negative patterns that I had before. And being able to get out of my own way led me to this direction. And my mom, she's in the audience, but she always shared with me that you could be a life coach. And I'm like, I can be a life coach, but I'm like, can I? Because I didn't know where to start. Again, like there's resources out there, but you don't know where to start as far as a business owner. So for the first 8 months, I was struggling by myself, thinking like, okay, I can do the research, because you can only get so far when you do the research. So I was doing my part, but I was still getting to a stuck point. So I'm like, how am I gonna overcome these obstacles and barriers? So I had to get out of my own way, right, and get the help, right? So getting someone, because I was thinking in my head, like, that makes so much sense. If I've never ran or had a successful, seven-figure company, what makes me think that I can do it, right? So getting out there and getting the people who have those businesses. So surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, people who do want to change, people who do want to grow, people who are centered with peace, love, and happiness, who want to see you win. So really changing your whole lifestyle is like one of the main things. So I guess, when you do your whole life transition changes and your whole, so. Okay, that's how I got into
just hearing your story kind of like, wow, because just like myself, becoming a entrepreneur, yes, I've never been in business before, and it was my first time, and I know that can create some anxiety. And so there were strategies, and so my partner and I, we reached out, like you said, some of the things we did, we reached out to our community, right? Like you said, people who want to win, like-minded, or who have been there before us, to help structure where we are today. And so I can totally relate to that. I think you said something at the very beginning of that. You mentioned you didn't know where to start. So I have a question for you. As a life coach, do you have to be certified, or did you get a degree? Like what?
So since I do have the background in bachelor's in social work, I was already doing that for my clients, and I was working in the mental health field. So with all my clients, I would help them. We would do 3 months or 6 months goals and help them to become mentally stable. So if it's, linking them to a therapist, psychiatric services, community services, housing, things like that I was already doing as a social worker. It just, it just made so much sense that I transitioned into being a life coach.
So you needed a certificate in that way, or you just transitioned and just...
Yeah, I just transitioned. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, amazing to hear that, and to hear your story and your background and how you transitioned over. I can kind of say, hey, so for today, right, we're here to talk about self-love, different strategies that you can share with us in the audience on, hey, how can we do this better or be better at it? So I'll share with you guys just a little bit. First of all, I am a new mother of a 2-month-old, and it's my first child and my first everything. And so as a mother, I'm a businesswoman, a mother, and I still have to work my 9 to 5, right? So for me, I feel overwhelmed. I will say that, just being honest, right? The anxiety is kicking back as maternity leave is nearing, and I have to go back to work, figuring out what am I going to do for daycare, just that separation piece for me and my 2-month-old. So we are in the month of love, and I have to also remember to continue to love myself, right? As a mother, I still need to be able to do the things that I was doing before motherhood. And so I find that it's going to be a struggle. So what are some tips that you would give to me, right? I'll start off with myself. So what tips would you give to me to help and manage and being able to balance? Because our model here at Holistic Executive Suite is balancing wellness and business, right? So you got a business owner, you got to balance everything around you holistically, whether that's my mental, spiritually, physically, all of that together in one bundle. Like, how do I do that?
The first step I would always suggest is always allowing yourself grace, showing yourself grace and mercy, right? Because you can't be perfect and it's okay. So if you're over exhausting yourself, you're not going to be able, you're going to be drained, you're not going to be able to pour around the people around you. So I always say time management and creating a daily routine, something structural that's going to be able to be beneficial for your lifestyle. So really going down, I always say sometimes in life, the best way to create an outline. So everything that's being processed in your mind, put it down on paper. Once you put it down on paper, you do like the building blocks. I start with this step, then I do this one, and knowing that just takes one step at a time. Don't bite off more than you can chew. What happens is, I've heard that. What does it say? Don't put your basket where you can't reach it. So I've heard that one too in the Caribbean home. Yes. Just again, taking baby steps and knowing that you're one person and you can only do so much, and also scheduling time for yourself, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's once a week to say, okay, I need a mental break. It could be simple as a bubble bath, candles. Sometimes I do love to treat myself, do a whole pampering thing like putting candles, a bubble bath, nice music, enjoying a nice glass of prosecco. Like I always say that, and sometimes in life you have to make it an experience. You have to enjoy the little things. That's so basic that you can do, but sometimes you can really you can't do it every day, but maybe every week, and it's so worth it because you come out and you're like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I took this time for myself. So that's another way where you can balance family, work, business.
Okay. Well, I think I got out of there is creating a schedule, a routine, that self-love, the lifestyle, and so I think that's amazing. That's amazing that we have someone like Darlene, the life coach, to be able to coach us through those different transitions that we all go through in life, right? And so mine for me is motherhood, and so thank you so much, Darlene, for sharing those tips and different strategies. So as far as self-love, Darlene, when you're coaching individuals or just in typical about self-love, what other things, what other strategies can you give to just the public, the audience,
The main thing is doing a lot of healing and soul searching and seeing what is your stuck point and building that confidence. So I always saying, starting with yourself, self-affirmation is so important. Some people don't think about it. If you don't talk to yourself with love, right, you're going to be used to other people talking to you any type of way, just downplaying you, talking to you like you're small, because that's how you talk to yourself, right? And that also goes into setting healthy boundaries. And I kind of just, realize that it's a lot of setting healthy boundaries with yourself as well. It starts with you, what you're going to be able to put up with, and what is your no. And being able to say sometimes, no, I'm not able to do it because of my mental health. Like, I'm unable to do it, and choosing yourself because you deserve it. You are worthy of every single thing. So just saying, hey, you know what, in this event or this occasion, I'm unable to attend.
Saying no, I think that's very important. A lot of us have a hard time just saying no. It could be whether it's families, friends, just saying the word no, not today. No, I can't do it today. It's really hard, right? Because if you're always that overgiver, overachiever, you're always wanting to just say yes, oh yes, I'll be there, yes, even if it's 5 minutes, and you're stretching yourself, which then you're fatiguing yourself, and then you have to go back home and probably have to get to family, work, kids, feed, and it's just so much, and now you're just burnt out.
Business, right?
Burnt out.
Personal. So, and also the trick is that you have to do it every single day. Like you can't skip days because sometimes you won't get down on your low, and you do want to give up, but then you have to go back to your tools, right? You have to start utilizing them. So making sure you're intentional, and it changes, right? It changes with your lifestyle. Sometimes you might be in a place where, you're trying to come out of something, or you're trying to build your business, or, motherhood. And, just talking to yourself with love in that way instead of saying, the negative things, but with positivity. So changing the way you talk to yourself is a lot. That's one of the main tips that start with yourself. Start talking to yourself with love, with peace and happiness, being intentional. I know I created a morning routine, which is very helpful and beneficial. So starting my day when I wake up, doing my first 15, my devotional, my gratitude, and my intention for the day. How am I going to lead my day, right? Do I want to be productive? Do I want to be more relaxed? Do I want to be with peace, productivity, be more focused? So you have to be intentional on how you're going to lead your days, and also creating a bedtime routine as well. I learned that you have to make it like an experience. Like I always say, sometimes doing a nice little mass, putting some calm music, and having a glass of wine. I'm like always incorporating and doing something. Forgive me, guys. Forgive me, but you can never go wrong with a nice glass of wine. So, or if it's like on Netflix and chill just by yourself. Sometimes I always say like just be by myself. I'm a vibe. Like I can have so much fun just being peaceful by myself. So that's the best part when you're happy by yourself.
So I heard two things from you, Darlie. I heard, you didn't say the word, but consistency.
Yes.
Right? And also being intentional.
Yes.
Those are the two things that I heard. Consistency for me can be a little struggle. And also, I think I also heard you say in the last part, being able to be by yourself.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm normally not by myself. Right? If I go out, I travel, I'm with my hubby. That's my best friend, right? So I'll do it with him. When I was growing up younger, when you go back and you look, I was always going out, hanging out. I'm with my girlfriends. I was never alone. I have a sister. I was never alone, right? And so when people say, the weirdest thing people say, oh, I can go to the movies and chill.
Yeah, it's
okay.
I do it all the time.
Exactly. Sit down. I know, because guess what, guys? I called Darlie last week, and she was by herself. She was literally by herself with her notebook and so forth, and we met on Zoom just having a chat, and she was by herself. I hear it all the time, so this year, I'm going to try something by myself.
And it could be simple. I always say do beginners, like if you want to go to like a restaurant, just take yourself out on a date. I always say the best thing, or even experiences, sometimes we always wait. We're like, oh, I want to try this scuba diving, not me per se, or we
have some skydivers in the room.
Skydivers. If you want to do that, don't wait for someone, just do it. Plan a day. It could be your self-love, self-care, self-investment day. It could be a spa day, whatever it looks like sky's the limit. Like, just open yourself to more things, because if you're closed off, you will never really get to experience life the way it's meant to be experienced.
True. Amazing. Anything else you want to share with the crowd or the audience on this special love month of February, self-care love? Anything else to close us out, and then we're going to go ahead and do Q&A?
Yes. Always lead with love, and I'm saying 2024 is intentional. Being intentional with everything you do, and being open yourself up to blessings. Like, don't close yourself off, because if you do, the right people, the right blessings, you might miss it.
So blessings.
Yes.
Lots of blessings this year.
And surround yourself with peace, love, and happiness, especially the people around you. So that's what I would do. Any questions?
Any questions from the audience that you guys do? You have a live life coach right here with you. Any general questions you guys want to ask?
Anybody?
I have a couple questions that were submitted in our DM earlier.
Okay.
People couldn't attend. So one of the questions was, how do you realistically get started with self-love when that's not what you knew growing up and practice? So how do you get started with self-love, or maybe you forgot? I guess love
I
yourself.
would say start journaling, documenting all your everything that's going down in your mind, and processing that, and then going back and reading that. And I always say, sometimes that could be the beginning stages, but you might need someone to help you be able to overcome that. Because through that journey of self-love, it's going to be emotional, right? Because you're more loving and, peace and happiness. So I would say start off with journaling, documenting all your feelings, everything that you're going through. And if you're struggling to see, okay, where do I go next, then maybe, reaching out to a life coach or, maybe depending where you are, a therapist.
And then the next question is, how do you know when you have accomplished self-love?
You know what? It's a journey. So it's not an accomplishment, right? It's just you're always growing and evolving in your self-love. So you start somewhere just in life, right? And you're just going to keep going up those steps, right? And sometimes you get like stagnant or we go down a couple of steps. I always say like it's okay to take a break, but don't give up. Keep going. You can take a break, breathe, and get yourself together and get back on that horse and keep going. Right.
Do you have any suggested readings or materials that we should pick up or look into?
Yes, I do have, but I can't recall on the top of my head, so I will definitely reach out to you because I believe we're connected on Instagram, and I'll be I'll share with everybody in the audience.
There's a question on the line. So, Darlie, how do you motivate yourself to follow through with the goal? I've been wanting to get back in the gym since January 1, and it's been a struggle.
Follow through. Okay, so like I said, I just stated before, when I had to learn that one of my triggers, again, healing is disappointment, and so I am always leading with intentions, and that helps me stay consistent. So unpacking and learning all my negative habits, and that helped me stay consistent, and also choosing what you're going to do for your physical activity. I know she said she wanted to work out, so a lot, I know when I started my wellness journey, I had to figure out what works for me. The gym did not work for me. I would sign up every year, I'm paying monthly subscription, they're taking my money out of my bank account, and I'm like, and this is happening like 3 years, 4 years goes by, right? You start for the first 2 months and then you go. And then after COVID happened, I started doing a little bit of yoga online. And
I saw you bending backward.
I saw you. I saw you. Thank you. Now I'm like saying I'm a yogi. I'm actually going to get my certification in yoga because it's something that I love and I enjoy, and it really helped me with like my mental clarity and my spirituality, and also toning my body as well. So the trick is to find something that you actually enjoy. So it's not something you have to do, it's something that you get to do. Like you're happy looking for, like, oh my goodness, I get to go to yoga. I get to go to this class, or I get to do this.
Something you look forward to.
Exactly, and that's the trick.
2 questions. So the first one is, how do you pick a life coach, and then who are your clients that you work with?
So how do you pick a life coach? I would suggest that obviously, having interaction and seeing if they're aligned with your vision and your purpose, and are they going to get you ideally to where you want to be. So that's how you would pick a life coach. And
who do you work with?
So my target clients are women. So I coach women, professional women who suffer from burnout, stress, anxiety, to overcome and live a more fulfilled and meaningful life. So it's really tailored around self-care, self-love, and self-investment. But with that, I've learned through my growth that I'm able to help with more. So I do personalized plans. So for example, if a woman, she wants to do a career transition and she doesn't know where to start, she wants to start a business, she wants to do more things that she loves, she's trying to create a balance, all those things I'm able to create within that plan. So it's tailored towards you and what you want to focus on. But usually when in the practices, we're always starting with the foundation, the mindset, and also breaking the negative pattern. Because that is once we unpack, uncover all of the obstacles, we're really able to push forward and you're going to be able to stay consistent.
Okay. Any other questions out there?
That's all.
Any Q&A? Okay. Well, Darlene, thank you so much. Thank you everyone that is here physically and virtually who have joined us for our first session. We have brought it back, that Balancing Wellness in Life series with Holistic Executive Suite, where we help business professionals and wellness professionals balance wellness and business. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week as we have another life coach with a different twist on goal setting, who will be here on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you guys then. Thank you so much. Have a good evening and enjoy your weekend.
Yes, and thank you for having me as well.
You're very welcome. Oh, did you want to share your platforms with them?
Yes, everyone follow me at Life Coach Darley, Life Empowerment DKB. My website is also Life Empowerment DKB. You can find me there. My YouTube page is Life Coach Darley, and platforms on across all over, so LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm there.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining.